Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Fancy a Dabble. Shane, how are you going? I just want to start, before anything else, mention the Origin last night. What a game. How was it? You were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was amazing atmosphere. Obviously did what everyone does before Origin, went to Caxton Street and drank as many 4X cans as I could before we had to go to the stadium. So everyone was pretty rowdy and chirpy, as you can imagine. It was a packed house, and there's plenty of niggle and stuff in the game as well, which I think added certainly to the crowd getting involved, and got pretty rowdy where we were sitting, which was always fun. But obviously, particularly with Queensland getting over the top of them in the second half, and then even the disallowed. There was five tries that the crowd thought were tries that were waved off by the ref one way or another. So 5 times that happened, and the Queenslanders were cheering, and the New South Wales fans were telling them to sit down, and that went on forever. But obviously that the atmosphere with that Ben Hunt intercept from the kick, that was like deafening. It was amazing. It was hard not to get caught up in it. Actually, it was good fun. But I had a little bet on the event actually, back to New South Wales, but I cheered Queensland obviously. I had a little bit each way really. I was cheering for Queensland, but I had a bet on New South Wales. So I should have listened. So a lot of people told me that Queensland at the with a 9 or 8.5 point head start at home in Origin is like always a good bet. So I stuffed that up, but it was a good night.
Yeah, well, luckily I took them at $5, 1 to 12 during the game. So I was very, very happy about that. That's Queensland. That is. I do not back New South Wales to win, but
again.
that is a big mistake. But Shane, we've got a great weekend coming up as usual. We've got another day at Mackay tomorrow. We've got 9 races up there and a feature, and we'll go to Saturday, have a little look at Brisbane, and then any sport that we can find the punters. So I'll let you start up at Mackay and let me know what you found up there, and we'll see if we can find winners.
Well, last time we raced up north, I think we did the show last week. We found Idling By as a bet at Rocky, and it got the money for us. We ran really well. It was very strong late through the line, and it's in again in race 5. Stepping up to 1800, I think is definitely suitable. Gets a big weight pull off the other couple that are in at the top of the market as well. I think it's currently 3rd favourite. So I'm going to make it my best win bet again. So that's race 5, number 4, Idling By as the win bet there, around about sort of 380. It's tricky little program. The Mackay Newmarket is the main race of the day. It's the last race. Race number 9. Mil Rossa is another horse that we backed last week at Rocky that got the job done. Obviously, the horse is going well, but this is a much tougher race than what it's encountered its last few. But it is going through the grades nicely. Looks well placed. I thought it and Let's Party Marty were sort of 2 good chances, but I sort of found one I think is a great each way chance here. So it's race 9, number 5, a Moody Bay. Moody Bay won at Eagle Farm 2 starts back in the in that country Stampede final, or whatever it is, where they run the heats around Queensland, and then the final around country Queensland. They have the final in Brisbane, and it won that really impressively and comfortably. Last start was in the Rocky Newmarket. It was 3 wide, no cover on speed, and I thought it boxed on really well. I anticipate they'll probably just ride it a bit quieter here from that gate and just sort of be able to tuck in behind them. There's plenty of horses that want to go forward here, so there should be good enough speed, for it to find a decent spot. And at double figure odds, I thought it was a really good each way chance. So that's race 9, number 5, a Moody Bay in the Mackay Newmarket each way.
Yeah, and a very interesting little race there. Actually, I was quite stumped myself. I thought, where that Mil Ross has just flipped over to $2.90, and I thought, I know it is short, but is it just too short in that race? I didn't mind actually Dark Archer. I don't know if he's going to get a run, but he did actually run just slightly quicker than Mil Rossa the other day. and he's opened up here at $35. There's also another one, another one there that I noticed called Caballo Oscuro, and she ran quite a good race behind Ushu the other day. And she gets in well weighted, was 3 wide and still ran on. So I just noticed those two, but yeah, it's an interesting one.
Not sure whether, as you said, not sure whether Dark Archie gets a run, but if it does, and it's still $34 if it makes the field, considering the times, the raw time it ran on the day, the same day as Mil Rossa, you'd want to be having something small on that.
Especially each way. I'll take a $9 a place any day of the week.
Bloody oath. I'll be following you in just in case it gets a run.
We'll head over to Brisbane, which is where I found a couple here, hopefully, and they haven't opened up at massive prices, but that's all right. I'm going to go race 1, number 12, nice and early for everybody, which is Lethal Warning. Tony Gollan trains, Stephanie Thornton rides, 53 kilos, so gets in light here. I think her run last start was absolutely enormous. She got really, really caught up in the straight and just couldn't get out. And when she did make up a lot of ground. So I'm thinking that little bit of extra distance there tomorrow. We've got the 18:05. I think she's just going to eat that up and hopefully can win for everyone at $4.
It's not a ridiculous price. It's been running in pretty good grade, and like during our sort of carnival times too, like over it was Magic Millions. I think it ran over the Magic Millions carnival, so it's been in some strong races, hasn't it? And off season, really sort of end of the racing season this time of year in Brisbane, it certainly doesn't have the depth, with the quality of horses that we see in the winter. So
yeah, absolutely not. And yeah, I do think she's well placed. I think another one that's well placed is race 2, number 9, which is Rob Heathcote trained Champagne Pop. This girl also is coming out of a sort of stronger company race behind Majestic Colour there at the Sunshine Coast. Was very wet. I know she does go through the wet, however, did get bumped a little bit throughout the straight. And I thought she would definitely finish off here tomorrow. She is opened up at two. You can get $2.90 at the moment. So I'm happy to give her a go. Kyla Wilson Taylor will claim the 1.5 kilos there.
Yeah, look, it's a bit of a trend too. These lightly weighted horses the last couple of weeks have been running really well. We've seen a couple of winners last week. I think there might be 2 or 3 winners on the card that carried sort of like 52. So, which is, it's been something, something a little bit new the last 3 months or whenever that's changed, come in about the minimum weight. So, I think drawn gate 1's a benefit too for this horse. You have a look at its barrier jaws. It's drawn 12, 8, 11, 14. Its last few and had, it's always sort of sitting out the back. You'd hope it could settle, maybe 1 or 2 pairs closer from the good gate this time for sure.
Yeah, she does go back, but I was also hoping she'd just be slightly handier there on Saturday.
Yeah, I had a little look through the card, and I just thought that probably, I thought, so you've sort of tipped race 1 and 2, have you? Because we might take an all up here, win and place all up. Well, I thought race 3, number 3, Asamu, was the best of the shorter price favourites on the card. Really big figure winning this track and trip last start before a break, where it led and dominated over 1,000 metres this track, and it's always a benefit to be able to handle the Eagle Farm track. Draws gate 1, it's either going to lead or sit behind the leader, which might be Leprezi. It did trial at Deegan over 1,050 and trialled against F Troop and held that horse all the way through the line. We know that F Troop's a pretty smart operator. So to find this horse in a benchmark 75 first up 1,000 on a track that he goes really good at, obviously the O'Day Hoisted stable are, I wouldn't say unbeatable, but they're completely airborne. So yeah, I just think that I think those few factors there make it a really good bet. So we might have a win all up for those first 3 at Doomben and a place all up at Eagle Farm. Sorry, with your 2 cut and mine, maybe a win and place all up.
Yeah, absolutely. My only concern with him was the weight, but I think looking at the field, hopefully he's just got that little bit of class. And
yeah, I think so.
Really well, yeah. So that's always good. And we'll have a look at a bit of sport, Shane, if you've got it. I think I haven't had too much of a look, but I think I'm just going to stick with the Broncos this weekend after last weekend.
Is that because the Broncos are playing the Titans and the Titans are no good? Is that why?
Well, yes,
part of it.
I've chose the easier target,
Yeah.
but a win's a win. We'd rather a win at $2 than a loser at $4, right?
Exactly. And I was pathetic in my sports analysis last week, where I thought the Brisbane Lions had a couple out, then they had a few late outs, and they're left with a heap out, and they couldn't get the job done against Essendon on their home track. So I think I tipped them out I had them in an all up or something at $1.30, which is like disgusting that they've got rolled. Probably worse than the Wallabies, actually. That's how bad. Yeah, let's move on. I'm also going to take Brisbane, but the Brisbane Lions this time to bounce back. They've got some good players back, some really good players back, actually. They're around $1.62. They're playing GWS. They're hit and miss GWS. I think the Lions, with their players back, will bounce back. I think they're still like top 3 side in the comp. And they'll need to bounce back this week. I think they will. I've also got one that out wide that a couple of the other mailbag boys, I've previewed a couple of races with them today. Flemington race 6, number 9, Squid Game. Looks almost unbeatable were the words that was getting thrown around at Flemington on Saturday. So the Squid Game into Brisbane Lions multi is $3.72 at Dabble. So I'm going to pin some hopes on that to win the weekend beer money, I think.
Look, I think I'm seeing some good energy floating around here, and I think that could definitely be a go. Squid Game's a really good horse, so. And
a really good stable with obviously with the Payne stable. So yeah, look, I'll go that way. I'll do it responsibly, of course, but that'll be my little multi for a little bit of fun and something to watch over the weekend with the sport.
Absolutely. Well, Shane, I hope we've found the punters a winner this weekend. I cross my fingers for them, and I think it sounds good. It always sounds good, doesn't it? But
yeah, I'm more confident now that we've spoken about it than what I was beforehand. You've talked me into it as well.
That's the way it should be. But yeah, good luck to everyone, and thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Fancy and Dabble.
Thanks, Gab.